Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to Battle Wounds Podcast. And I'm your host, Amos St. John. Whew. It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks. From the last episode, if you go back and listen to it, I was talking about walking through the fog, and that's basically what I did. I left. To be honest, on the last episode, I was actually not doing well. I was actually sick. I'm still towards the end of it. I'm on the better side of whatever bug that I got. I don't think it was COVID. It was something else that I'm seeing that everybody else is getting out here in Texas. But I was in bad shape. It got worse while I was going through the early grieving process of losing my close cousin when going to Florida to be with family right after that. And then I came back and my mind, my body, everything was just tired. I was exhausted. Fighting this virus, dealing with grief, just life, And so, to be honest, I was at a point where I was like, I don't know if I'm going to keep going with this because I'm tired, I'm exhausted. But, taking some rest, hydrating, praying, doing all the necessary things to positively, reinforce, my thinking and decision making. I'm gonna keep going, But this is the last episode for season 4. We've been in season 4, and we've had a good run. And I'm gonna take a quick break and work on some other projects that we'll talk about at another time. But season 4. This is the season finale. This is the season finale. I tell you, man, it's been a journey. I like doing this because you get to kind of see. It's kind of like a public journal. For those again, who's been part of my journey from when this podcast was formerly called Coffee House Conversations. That was a couple of years ago, and it's like a time capsule. You just kind of get to look at those days and where I was, and here I am years later, and this season is just the introduction of this new chapter of life and the things that I'm learning, what I've endured and what I'm going through. And so this is great conversations, this season 4. Season 5 is going to just take into higher heights, deeper depths. It's going to be fun. It's not going to always be serious. I know these last couple of episodes has been serious, so a lot of people, they might tune in or tune out. But before that, I really appreciate for all those who subscribe, who follow, who like, who comment. I appreciate it so much. It means the world to me. Yes, it is a little discouraging when you don't see the numbers like I hate to say comparison, but you see other podcasts and other things, they get the numbers, but you know what? I'm fine. I know that my process and journey is different than the others. And so I appreciate every single one of you who take the time to listen to the podcast or view the podcast or like it or just tune in and tune out. However you do it, thank you so much. Now, if this is your first time, please subscribe, hit the notifications button, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook, here on YouTube, wherever you are. Thank you if you're listening on the podcast, Apple, Spotify, Google Play, however, wherever. Thank you, and thank you. So here I am, closing this season 4 of the newly relaunched and rebranded Battle Wounds podcast. And I must say, it's been a heck of a journey. But I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep moving forward. I noticed that everything in life happens for a reason. All the experiences that I've experienced at 44 years of age, I notice it's like, you know what, Amos, sometimes being a trailblazer or a pioneer or something, it's just a different pace. It moves at a different pace. And so I've noticed in my music, I notice in things, it takes a little while for things to catch. So I'm appreciative, again, if you're taking this time to listen to the podcast and glean from it. Thank you. Trust me, there's more to come. It gets better from here. But today's episode, as we close season 4, I want to talk about choosing the right hard. Get your minds out the gutter, y'all. Let me stop. Choosing the right hard. What I mean by that, life is difficult. As you get an adult and start doing life, start noticing like there aren't too many easy choices out here. Everything requires work. It gets difficult. You understand? And I want to talk a little bit about choosing the right hard. Some of us choose the wrong hard, and it leads to a very difficult path, difficult journey. We all struggle with that. And what I mean by sometimes it's easy to eat fast food, processed foods, and gain weight and have bad health and bad nutrition. It leads to a very difficult path. And it also is difficult to eat right, to exercise, to make the right choices. That is difficult within itself. But choosing the right hard, which hard would you choose? The difficulty of eating better, exercising, better health, there are better results even in choosing the right hard. You understand? And so one way or the other, it's going to be difficult. You choose which difficulty that would work for you. And that's what I've noticed. I remember in therapy, my therapist was talking about Amos, and there's a thing called life. It's a lot of multiple questions, multiple choice questions, and there's not an easy answer. Each answer is, is like life it's not going to give you just one answer. It's going to be multiple choices. You understand? And so it's important that the choice that you choose is the right choice. Yes, it comes with a difficulty. It's hard. But making the right choice has its benefits. I talked about it, choosing the right hard, eating healthy or not eating healthy, both of those are difficult choices. Some may have different benefits in the front end, and like eating unhealthy is great, feels great at the time, but at the long run, it's not going to be too good for you. Yes, eating healthy can be difficult at first, but once you start seeing the results in the long run, you are so much more appreciative of the journey. So choose the right hard, make the right choice of difficulty. Whether it's a job, that's another example. Staying at a job that no longer serves you. You've been at the job and you make a good salary, but you've reached a ceiling. You cannot grow, you cannot expand. You've reached a ceiling. Now, whether you just remain stagnant and just comfortable and familiar, or do you grow? Find something that will challenge you, allow you to earn more, to allow you to reach your maximum potential. Making that choice is hard, whether to stay in the familiar or go to the unfamiliar, leaving a familiar space, whether it's a job or a situation, and going to the unfamiliar and really pushing yourself in reaching your max potential. Both choices are difficult, whether to stay in the familiar and remain stagnant and become resentful and become bitter and become, just monotonous. Everything is the same. And for some people, that's cool, but there are some people who like to be pushed to the next level, to level up. So whether you choose to stay in familiar or go to the unfamiliar and push yourself, there are difficulties on both sides. Choosing the right hard. And so for me, I've chosen the right hard. I left, my job last year. I loved it. I love being there, but I felt that there was more. I was not reaching my max potential. I needed something to push me even further. It was a very difficult position because the job was amazing, great benefits, good pay, but I felt like I was worth more. I felt like, and there's nothing against the job, but I just knew that I could not earn any more. I've reached a ceiling. Now I could stay here and go on cruise control and be good, but I'll be stuck making the same amount of money, stuck doing the same thing. Maybe here, very diversify here, this and that. But there is a point where you just reach a ceiling. And so I challenged myself to go into the unfamiliar. Here I am into the unfamiliar, and I can be honest, it is difficult because it's uncertain, it's unfamiliar, and it's out of your comfort zone. But from what I understand and what I learn and what I feel, it's going to lead to beautiful destinations. So many of the greats will tell you, yes, they've jumped into the deep, took that leap of faith. It wasn't easy. It was hard. But look at them now. And so, yes, it's easier to say from hindsight, like, hey, look, I went through all this and here. But you know what? I am up for the challenge. And so here I am in the unfamiliar, doing this podcast in this season, documenting this journey, and you walking with me, and I'm sharing the insights and the knowledge and the things that I've learned from my perspective and my lens, and I'm sharing you, listen, man, it's time to level up. Choose the right hard. Level up. Choose the right hard. Sometimes it requires taking that leap of faith. Sometimes it requires having that difficult conversation that you've been avoiding. Choose the right hard. Initially, it'll be difficult, but it leads to a beautiful destination. I'm telling you, y'all, for me, choosing the right hard, I think one of the choices was to get a divorce. Without getting into details, it was a choice. It was a hard choice. Now, everybody knew walking into marriage. Marriage is hard. Relationships are hard. Dealing with family is hard, And when I speak for marriage, it is difficult. It was never a walk on the park. It was difficult. But there are some points where you have to notice, okay, wait. And I want to share a few indications of choosing the right hard. Okay? For me, when I chose to go to a different route and get a divorce, because I'm a tough guy. I'm what you call a person that goes. I'm long suffering. I know how to persevere. I know how to. And when you've reached a ceiling, when you can no longer persevere or suffer long anymore, there comes a choice you have to make. You know what I'm saying? And so here's where I was that led me to make some difficult decisions, because it was difficult either way. But here are some some good indications of choosing the right hard. First thing is, does it bring you peace? Now, what I mean by peace, like, it's hard, so of course it's uncomfortable. There is some resistance, there's some difficulty, but there is that inner peace that surpasses understanding. We say in the church, it surpasses all understanding. There's a peace of choosing the right hard. It is. I remember when as difficult as it is, because I'm a man of my word, I'm a man of integrity, I'm a man that sticks. Again, I'm persevering. And when it was time for that decision, it took a while. Because again, it was like, till death do us part, for sickness and health, for better or worse. And so it got to that point where you had to choose the right hard. Because when my peace of mind was under attack, when intrusive thoughts started coming, when I started thinking about doing harm to myself, that's not good. That's not the right hard. When it's bringing harm to yourself. And when you bring harm to yourself, you start bringing harm to others. When you start being destructive to yourself, you start being destructive to others. And that's something I refuse to embark into, that journey of being self-destructive. So I chose the right hard by going in the place where that brought me peace. Again, with proper counsel and with wise counsel, I made those choices. I didn't just make it all just impulsive and just say, because sometimes, I do have an avoidant nature in my trait. I am an avoidant. What my therapist call, I am I'm an avoidant, but I am what's that word? Processor. I'm a processor. I'm a thinker. That was the word. He gave me the word, but I'm an avoidant. And so there's some times when I'm running into stuff, I would avoid it to process it then, you know what I'm saying? So I think he's called an avoidant processor. Something to that point. It'll come to me, but I like to step back and process, evaluate. Then if I choose, I will step forward. Or if I realize this is too heavy of a risk, if this is be damaging, I'm going to do something else. And so, there's different types of avoidance. That's my avoid. I'm an avoidant processor. I process. I step back and process, assess, think, then make a move. Some people, they just run right straight through it. They just go. They're anxious, or they're I can't remember the other personality trait. But yes, I'm an avoidant. I'm an avoidant processor, and so I noticed I went through the process of thinking it through, and I noticed this was not bringing me peace. This was bringing me torment. This was bringing me self-harm, and that's not good. And so I choose peace. That's one great indication. Another indication, does it bring you clarity? Sometimes when you're in the midst of a storm, again, I mentioned about marriage, whether it's a job that's no longer serving you, whether it's your health, and whatever storm you're going through, there's a point where you need clarity of thought. I notice sometimes I'm a person, I deal with anxiety. I look at a storm, or I look at the things in front of me, and I make it a mountain. When I say making a mountain out of a molehill, I look at, oh man, I got bills due, I got this, that due, knowing that, this too shall pass. But in the moment, I am severely anxious, and this becomes an entire mountain. And I notice that sometimes you have to be in a place where that brings you clarity so you can make better decisions. And so for me, in choosing the right hard, I noticed when I felt like I'm making the right choice, as difficult as it was, I noticed clarity. I noticed things begin to not be so cloudy in my thinking, in the way I process. I noticed things begin to clear. And I was like, oh, this must be the direction I need to be going, because I'm seeing and I have peace, and it's bringing me clarity. In the midst of the difficulty, I am getting clarity. That was my journey. It may be different for you, but one indication was peace. The second one, it brought me clarity in the difficult choice. And finally, the question I asked, does it bring positive change? Yes, positive change. Talk about my weight loss. Years ago, I made that difficult choice of getting the surgery, which was a great tool. I lost weight. I made a choice of changing my lifestyle, changing the way I eat, changing the way I think. It was difficult, but it led to such a beautiful journey and beautiful result. Here I am, 150 pounds lighter. Gained a few pounds back, but I've still lost over 100 pounds. Thank God. I'm trying not to go back under 100 pounds. You know what I mean? Life be lifing. And so I am making that effort. But yeah, it led to a difficult choice led to positive change. Choosing the right hard, it has to lead to a positive change. Getting a divorce, it led to positive. It was difficult. Mind you, it was not easy. It was not easy. I know many divorcees can say, listen, I'm still dealing with the residue of a divorce. It is not easy, but it led and it leads to positive change. I'm healthier in my decision making. I'm seeing things clearly. I have peace of mind. My relationship with my daughter is so healthy because I'm not dealing with so much torment of the difficulties of navigating a very tumultuous relationship while being a parent. You know how difficult it is for these kids to see parents go at it, and they're young. As a child, I did see my parents argue. It wasn't tumultuous, but they had disputes. And I understand there's still difficulty in relationships where people disagree. And my parents disagreed. It was the cutest thing ever because I'll see them, we live in a very small quarters in New York. And so I used to see them interact and they act like they ain't talking to each other. But my mom still, made my dad dinner. My dad still did stuff. You know what I'm saying? It was the cutest thing. But I see the disagreements. But when it becomes tumultuous and toxic and you still have to parent and your child is watching this, I couldn't do that to my daughter. And so I felt like I needed to be healthier so to be a better father to our daughter. And so it's a difficult choice. Very difficult choice. Either or, whether you stay in a marriage or whether you go, it's difficult either or, but you got to choose the right heart. It has to bring you peace. It has to bring you clarity and has to bring you positive results. And so choose the right hard. Easier said than done, yeah. And that phrase alone sounds crazy, don't it? But life is hard. Life is hard. It's difficult. There's no escaping it. So it's very important. It's vital that you choose the right hard. in this life, full of choices, difficult choices. Choose the right hard. That brings you peace, brings you clarity, brings you positive change. It's difficult. You ain't going to get it right all the time. And my heart goes out for those who are in the midst of hard decisions and hard, what I'm saying? And for those who may have felt like they chose the wrong hard my heart goes out to you. And for me, it's like, I'm not going to get it right every time. But I'm thankful that with the right counsel and the right elements that led me to making the right decisions in my life with my health and leaving a marriage that no longer was healthy and it was disintegrating. It was time to choose the right hard. And so I am healthier. I am living a better health. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's still difficult, but it's leading to positive change. You know what I'm saying? And so choosing the right hard has its benefits. And I want to encourage you, again, make sure it brings you peace, clarity, and positive change. And there's so much we can expound, but want to bring these nuggets as we close this season number 4 of Battle Wounds Podcast. I want to just close with the season and make sure you listen. Life is tough. I can see every day that there are people are going through. And in the midst of going through, you have choices you have to make, difficult choices. And sometimes we get it right and sometimes we don't. But there's no easy route. And I think a lot of us are trying to escape and following the easy route. It ends up becoming harder for us. So make sure when you choose the right hard, it brings you peace, clarity, and positive change. And there are other elements, but I want to just talk about those 3. We'll talk more about that in later episodes and later down this journey of Battle Wounds Podcast. I so much appreciate you tuning in. Again, this has been an amazing season, being back after being out for 3 years through a pandemic and through a divorce and through all that. Here I am. I'm so thankful that you've tuned in, that you subscribe. If you're not, please subscribe, follow, like all the pages, comment. Let me know how I'm doing. There's always room for improvement. And I have some guests. I already got some guests lined up for season 5, so stay tuned for the announcement of season 5. Be working hard on some other content. Can't wait to share it with y'all. I'm charged up. Even in the midst of choosing hard, the right hard, I'm charged up. I have things coming down the horizon. I'm pushing through, and I'm like, I'm going to do it because I believe it's for you. This is not just for me. This is for you. Whatever God has placed in my heart, placed in my mind, and me to share with the world, it's for you. And so I'm pushing through, and I'm going to keep choosing the right hard. So whatever is birthed from this is going to bless someone and add value to you. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Battle Wounds Podcast as we close this season. Thank you so much. And remember, health is wealth. Until next time, see you next season. Bye.